Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel Curious Rocks, and this is a video to say today I went out for afternoon tea with two aunties and an uncle who is the husband of one of my aunties, and mum and dad, and we went for afternoon tea. One of the aunties who went with us is also an artist, so it was the opportunity to show her my art that I do. And we went to have afternoon tea at Wedgwood, which is just down the road from us. So, and I bought some books. So first of all, here is a couple of pictures of me having afternoon tea. So then we sort of walked round the shop a bit, and you can also tour the factory, but we didn't do that today. But well, I had to look at some things in the shop, in the outlet shop. I saw like sort of a, what's it called? Ornament figurine, that's it, figurine thing, but I think it did not have a price on, so it was probably expensive, but it's by this artist, and it's a guy in a bowler hat pouring paint over the House of Parliament, and it did look pretty cool. But I spent the money I would have probably spent on that on books, so I spent just as much on the books. And so these are the books I got from the Wedgwood gift shop now, and I got them from the Wedgwood gift shop instead of looking for them for a cheaper, because I wanted to support Wedgwood, and hopefully the amount I spent on the books means they can afford some extra clay. So I want to support the pottery industry, bring it back to life. So this is what I got in the books. So I got this one, and this is called Edward Borden and His Circle, and it's written by Malcolm York, and there is that hit the artist. So there's a bit of writing on the back. Borden was an artist of a high order, yet he never became a national treasure or icon, a household word, in the way his contemporary Moore or his hero Hockney did. Looking afresh now, as this book allows one to do, at the whole sweeping output of his long and productive life, two things are most striking. The first is his intense individuality, heroically independent of the reverently or credulously accepted artistic fashions of the time. The second is the intelligence and independence of mind that enabled him to leave behind and to communicate to a still growing following a substantial, vivid, coherent, an honest record of his whole life's experience of time, not only well but intelligibly spent. And David Gentleman has written that. I do actually know who David Gentleman is, but anyway, and I hadn't really heard of this particular artist, but I flipped through the book in the shop and it looked quite interesting, because he's got some pictures in this book of his portraits, and I'm really enjoying doing my daily art in my Happy Planner sketchbook setup, and I'm sort of interested in getting into miniatures because it works for my personality and that I can get them done really quickly, but I think I do a really good job with them, and it means I don't use up all my energy on a massive piece and then get bored halfway through. So miniatures, then putting them into little frames, that would be interesting to see if anybody would be interested in that kind of thing. So this book, Edward Borden and His Circle by Malcolm York, foreword by David Gentleman, afterward by Hermione Lee. Edward Borden, 1903 to 1989, was one of that golden generation of British artists born in the first 5 years of the 20th century. He was also the most versatile. His training at the Royal College of Art taught him that equal attention must be paid to a delicate watercolour landscape, a 60-foot mural for a liner, a beer mat design, a line engraving, a porcelain patterned plate, a film poster, an advertisement for Shell, a book illustration, a tapestry or a wallpaper. He remains the acknowledged master of the lino cut, a humble medium he raised to the level of high art. His career as a war artist was a distinguished one, involving him in the retreat from Dunkirk and travels into Egypt, Sudan, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran and Italy. Sailing home from Durban, he was torpedoed and adrift in a lifeboat for 5 days. My French granddad was torpedoed and adrift in a raft for a few days too. But I think that was the Second World War when that happened. So that's interesting. For 5 days before being made a prisoner of war in Casablanca. All these adventures he recorded in wry and witty letters back to England. Once home, he became the doyen of the artists who clustered round him in the village of Great Bardfield in Essex. Later still, as a widower, he became known as the curmudgeonly sage of Saffron Walden, living with his cat Emma Nelson and painting some of the finest watercolours of his long and distinguished career. So this is a really cool book, and I just thought it looked really interesting because he's got like portraits and watercolours and pictures of shops and pictures lino cut of cows at the market, and then a poster. So he apparently applied his art to lots of different styles and mediums. So he illustrated a book, so which is the kind of thing I'm interested in, is using art in lots of different ways. And then there's some collage work and the line work at the top. So he apparently did loads of different styles and different applications of his ability. So I think that's really interesting and is sort of like related to what I want to do and what I am doing. So the next book that I got is this one, and it's by Peter Lockton, and it's all about royal commemorative mugs and beakers. I'm really interested in the royal family and all the merchandise, so I thought this looked really interesting, and it's all about the different mugs you can get with the royals on, and how basically they were marketed on mugs and stuff. So I'll read out the inner sleeve. Royal Commemorative Mugs and Beakers by Peter Lockton. Everybody has one. Mrs. Ribston certainly has. Has what? A royal commemorative. Mrs. Ribston, known as Ribby, was a pussycat. She invited a little dog called Duchess to tea. This is from one of Beatrix Potter's delightful stories, The Tale of the Pie and the Patty Pan. The original illustration, reproduced in this book, clearly shows the royal commemorative teapot on the tea table. Beatrix Potter used her own fine porcelain teapot with crown-shaped lid as the model for the illustration she painted in 1905. This teapot, commemorating the coronation of King Edward, I'm rubbish at Roman numerals, V11, can be seen today in her display cabinet at Hilltop, her little farm near Surrey, Ambleside, where she wrote and illustrated The Tale of the Pie and the Patty Pan. The displaying of ornaments and objets d'art came into its own towards the end of Queen Victoria's reign, flowered whilst King Edward V11 was on the throne, and continued to bloom during the reign of King George V. I think that's 5, possibly. The desire to display more and more prompted the ceramic industry, not only in Britain, but in a number of European countries, notably Germany, to produce low-priced souvenirs and commemoratives. This book aims to increase the passion of existing collectors and to introduce new enthusiasts to this exciting field of collecting. What's on the other side? And on the other side of the flaps is a bit about the author. Peter Lockton, CBE, was born in Bristol, UK in 1934. An electrical engineer, he had 43 years continuous service with one of the UK's largest power systems companies. His job took him to many parts of the world. The 13 years before his retirement were spent in India. Since retirement, he and his wife Lucy divide their time between the UK and India. Peter has been keenly interested in royal commemorative mugs and beakers for over 40 years, and has a large collection, many of which are featured in this book. Lucy, ever since waving her flag as a schoolgirl when greeting Queen Elizabeth II and HRH Prince Philip at Sadkiria Airport, Agra, India, in 1961, has been intensely interested in Britain's royalty and ensures pride of place in their home for the collection of royal commemoratives. So it's basically all about the merch you can get about royalty and all the different mugs with the pictures on. So that's really interesting. Okay, the next book that I got is Design. This is written by David Gentleman. Design. David Gentleman, compiled by Brian Webb and Peyton Skipworth, features one of Britain's most eminent designer artists, working in the tradition of Edward Borden and Eric Revilius. His work includes book illustrations, postage stamps, symbols, coins, posters, and designs for textiles and ceramics. Design. In earlier volumes of the design series, Brian Webb and Peyton Skipwith have looked at the work of Edward Borden, Eric Revilius, Paul and John Nash, and Edward McKnight Kauffer, among other artist-designers working in Britain during the first half of the 20th century. Moving on a generation, David Gentleman, who studied under Borden and John Nash at the Royal College of Art, London, is one of the most versatile designers working in Britain today. He is well known as an illustrator, stamp designer, graphic artist, muralist and author. Whilst he continues to adhere to the standards and traditions of Borden and Nash, he has enthusiastically embraced new technologies and made his own very personal contribution to design, bringing it firmly into the 21st century. Although his work is drawing-based, Gentleman, a former master of the Faculty of Royal Designers for Industry, has involved himself in a wide range of media, from the theatre to political propaganda. His highest profile public works include the 100-metre-long mural on Charing Cross Underground Station, and the many designs for sets of stamps, including those celebrating Concord, the life of Winston Churchill, and the 9th centenary of the Battle of Hastings. His book illustrations range from 1950s classics such as Patience Gray's Plat du Jour or Foreign Food, and to lush private press editions of Kipling's Jungle Book and the Swiss Family Robinson. He has also written and illustrated several works for children, as well as idiosyncratic travel books detailing aspects of the life, landscape and buildings of Britain, France, Italy and India, which have brought him face to face with all aspects of book production. As Alan Bennett says in the foreword, although David Gentleman has ranged the world in his subject matter, he remains a very English artist. The cover pattern is from St. George and the Dragon, 1973. So that's the cover, and it's really cool. Then the other flap has a bit about the authors of the book. Brian Webb is a designer, visiting professor at the University of the Arts, London, and past president of the Chartered Society of Designers. He has lectured, designed and produced several books on British design, including Design, Edward Borden and Eric Revilius, 2005, Design, Paul Nash and John Nash, 2006, Design, Edward McKnight Kauffer, 2007, and Design, Kerwin Press, 2008, all in collaboration with Peyton Skipwith, published by the Antique Collectors Club. He curated and designed Edward Borden in the Middle East, an exhibition of Borden's wartime paintings, with an accompanying book for the Fry Art Gallery, Saffron Walden, 2008, and contributed The Roller Coaster Ride, 1945 to the present, to London Transport Posters, A Century of Art and Design, London Transport Museum, 2008. Peyton Skipwith is an independent fine art consultant. He retired as Deputy Managing Director of the Fine Art Society in 2005, after 44 years, during which time he organised many exhibitions covering most aspects of British fine and decorative arts of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, including Tribute to Edward Borden, Eric Revilius in Context, Britain Between the Wars, and Joseph Southall. In 2006, he was joint recipient with Andrew McIntosh Patrick on behalf of the Fine Arts Society of the Iris Foundation Award, New York, for a lifetime's contribution to the decorative arts. He is a writer and critic, contributing regularly to publications including Apollo, The Burlington, World of Interiors and The Literary Review. He is the author of Entertaining a la carte, Edward Borden and Fortnum and Mason 2007, and is currently researching a book on British art of the interwar period. So that's the authors. So it's got lots of what this are like, the architectural drawings, and it's got some character designs and poster designs, and then some designs of fruit and vegetables. Then we have book cover designs, so I guess it's about, the books are about jacks of all trades and all different, how you can have the application of art in different areas of life, which is really interesting to me. So the next book is by the same authors, and it's about Eric Revilius. Design Eric Revilius, compiled by Brian Webb and Peyton Skipwith, is a revised and expanded edition of the 2005 book, the first in the design series, with over 170 illustrations, several not illustrated before. It features Revilius's work as a wood engraver, illustrator and designer of books, ceramics and textiles. So this is the cover of this book. Design. The Design series of books by Brian Webb and Peyton Skipwith, published by ACC, has developed over the last dozen years, from the republication in a slightly enlarged form of the original catalogue of the Edward Borden Eric Revilius Centenary Exhibition at the Fry Art Gallery, Saffron Walden. Interest was such that it spawned a series with monographs devoted to McKnight Kauffer, Claude Lovett Fraser, John Piper, the Kerwin Press, and among the more recent artists, David Gentleman and Peter Blake. Cool, Peter Blake. Look at that. As the series has developed, so has demand for comparable and wider-ranging monographic volumes devoted to the design work of both Eric Revilius and Edward Borden. Eric Revilius, wood engraver, watercolourist and muralist, trained at the Royal College of Art in the 1920s. Here he had the good fortune to be taught by, among others, Paul Nash, who at that time was working extensively in wood engraving, as well as experimenting with abstract pattern. Revilius's work first came to public prominence with the unveiling in 1930 of his and Borden's murals at Morley College, South London. During the ensuing decade, Revilius illustrated many books and book jackets, and designed advertising material, brochures and exhibition stands, china for Wedgwood, glass and furniture, as well as textiles for the Cotton Board. Commissioned as an official war artist in 1939, he produced some of the most memorable watercolours of the coastal defences of Britain and a series of lithographs depicting the lives of submariners before being killed in 1942 during an air-sea rescue mission over Iceland. So this is the kind of thing in this book. So it's got furniture and this calendar, and then these scenes sort of this thing. His designs for plates. That's really cool. So these are the kind of things he designed. So that's that. The next book is Festival of Britain Design 1951. The Festival of Britain integrated art, science, technology and design, providing a compelling vision of the future. With over 150 illustrations, including snapshots, postcards, posters, advertisements, ceramics, books, badges, tickets and textiles, this book provides an insightful introduction to the festival and to the souvenir culture of 1951. I always love souvenirs and merchandise. It's really cool. So let's read what it says. Design. Design is an excellent introduction to the graphics, designs and souvenirs of the 1951 Festival of Britain. Inspired by the Great Exhibition of 1851, the Festival of Britain followed soon after the austerity of the war years. The major events were focused around the 27-acre bomb site around Waterloo Station, although events also happened throughout the UK. The festival was almost immediately unfashionable amongst commentators. It was viewed with suspicion by political conservatives and quickly dismantled. An establishment orthodoxy quickly emerged that called into question the festival's objectives. This political ambivalence towards the festival is confounded by the popularity of the festival amongst collectors, social historians, and anybody interested in post-war British culture and society. This book is the first to present the story of the Festival of Britain held in 1951 through its souvenirs. These objects were produced to commemorate the tonic to the nation. Retrospectively, they testified to the enormous popular appeal of the festival. Festival of Britain 1951, the most recent addition to the popular design series, places these souvenirs and objects into their historical context and explains the continuing appeal of these modest artefacts. Then on the back is about the author. Dr. Paul Rennie is Head of Context and Graphic Design at Central St Martin's, London. Paul and Karen Rennie collect the posters and objects associated with the artist-designers of 20th century British modernism. Their collecting project began in 1980 through a shared interest in the Festival of Britain. Paul is a regular contributor to the magazine of the Antique Collectors Club, Antique Collecting. He has written about the social and cultural significance of a wide range of 20th century British material, ranging from Lyons tea-shop lithographs and railway posters to tubular metal furniture and vintage headscarves. Paul and Karen are members of the Festival of Britain Society. So, on the inside of the book, you get the map of the festival. And it's like, oh, let's go around the festival, let's go buy all the souvenirs. And then on the other side is some more of the map. So, in this book, it's got posters. That's cool. I would totally have got that. It's a souvenir micro model paper building kit of the South Bank. All their cool merch and all about the festival. And mugs, because merch is awesome. And get a catalogue. And you get the programmes. So this is really cool. So yeah, because I like watching videos about gift shops. It's really hard to find because I'm not very good at search terms, but I like watching stuff about gift shops and what's in the gift shop. And I'm totally 10th Doctor. I'm totally with the 10th Doctor on that. I do totally love a little shop. And then the final item that I got was this sort of bookazine, and it's Wedgwood, the illustrated history of an iconic name in pottery. An indispensable expert reference for all enthusiasts and collectors of antiques. So in this, it shows you the designs of Wedgwood and the history of it and how they invented the glazes and stuff, and how they designed it, and they put figures on the pots and the things they have made, and that's a bit how they do the horses and these. So, and it's got information like you can find what the identifying the date stamps and the manufacturing codes. And it shows how they sculpt the pots and how the methods of glazing and decorating the pots, sort of. So I thought this was a nice easy introduction in pink. There was another book that I was going to get at Wedgwood, but and there was like one picture that I liked, and it was like a picture of a ship and like a piece of pink ceramic, and thought, oh, I like that picture. Is it a bit silly to get like a book just because I like only one picture in it? And I was going to get it when I noticed the price, which was £50, and I thought, oh, bit much, but just like the one book with the one picture that I like in it, so I had to leave the £50 one. I think there was another one that caught my eye, but I forgot. I forgot to pick that up. So I recommend getting this if you go to Wedgwood to visit. This is only £6.99 and there's packed full of information. So if you only got a little bit of pocket money, get this because there's loads of info in it. So that's what I've been doing today. I've been stuffing my face with sausages, eating cream scones and showing off my art today. So I'm going to wrap this up now because I want to get back to my art, and one of my soaps is coming on in a minute. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and if you want me if you have any questions about art books and the art styles I like, or art, what inspires me to do art and stuff, won't mind. We could do a question and answer video that's art focused. So if you do have any questions, leave them in the comments below. So I hope you have enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. Yay!